Hi, I'm Cristy, and this is the journey to TEDxWilmington. This has been an extraordinary all-day event. We have had so much fun. I'm telling you, my brain is a little fried.
It's a long day.
Yeah, but we have gone through 23 speakers, and the 24th, the headliner, the big cheese. Can I say that? Okay.
Let's just say cheese. Maybe leave big out.
All right, the cheese.
I got a complex.
The cheese is here. Mr. Dan Vega is joining me right now. Hi, Dan.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Like I said, long day.
Yes,
long
it was.
day. But how was it for you?
It was good. I had the easy part. I got to sit down and enjoy all the other speakers and glean. And then I tried not to think about it too much until it was like 30 seconds before going on. Because you tend to freak yourself out.
Yeah.
These kind of things. So it was really good. Luckily, I went over something that's familiar to me. So it was just a matter of how to frame it for this audience. But I had a blast.
That's
for sure.
good. That's good. This was your first TEDx. Now, not the first one he's ever been invited to. The first one that he's accepted to be on. Yes.
Yeah, I've had a few invitations over the years, and it wasn't that I wouldn't accept them. I was just always had conflict of schedule.
Okay, I just said it to make it sound better for us, but you know.
Yeah. Well, those other ones, they couldn't get me.
They couldn't book
I
us.
said yes.
I just try to make it sound good.
Cool.
That's fine. So, all right. So you get up to the steps. You're about to walk onto the red circle. Did you feel any jitters? I mean, you've been talking forever. Like, was it different than other talks that you've done? Just because it has that little like glimpse.
I think I always have a little bit of something going on. I think when you don't have that, there's a problem probably.
I agree.
But I always learn, when you go up, I always try to use humor or do something that will take the eyes off of me for, say, 30 seconds while you get your bearing, and then you kind of find your way.
That's my method too.
Yeah,
I like that. I usually make them breathe. I'm like, all right, So I can breathe because I like totally stopped breathing by the time I got to the red circle.
Yep.
But yeah, cool. So what was the title of the talk? I love your title.
Money, Morals, and a Global Impact.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And so you get into it, you're doing it, the crowd is responding, yes?
I think so.
Yeah?
You can't see with the lights.
Right.
But I heard a lot of laughs and some roar, so I think it was good.
That's good, because you were afraid they'd be asleep by the time you got on stage.
That's right, yeah.
He was like, I'm going to
The 24th spot is the one that's like, that's the short straw. And so by that time, people have a little drool, they're kind of doing this, and then they always bring me out last to just finish them off.
Right. Well, we look at it as headliner, like you're the one everybody's gonna stay for. Yeah. So that's how we gave you your spot.
Yeah.
But he's like, I got the short straw. It's fine.
Well, no, I'm kidding. I think I'll do okay. And I told this when I came out. My wife said that because I've done speaking for a long time. She says, when you go on stage, you're always like a blind sniper, right? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you're out there. You're not going to probably win any medals, but you'll always keep everybody, full of anticipation.
I love it.
So I'm like, I'll take it.
You won't win any medals. You might. You never
maybe.
know.
Maybe.
You maybe. All right. So give us just a little bit of the height of your speech. What was your favorite part of it?
Well, I told a story about sardine fishing versus salmon fishing and bear hunting, and the moral of the story is that we subscribe. A lot of entrepreneurs subscribe to the Zig Ziglar, Dale Carnegie kind of Napoleon Hill. Help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. Mm-hmm. And certainly, I believe that. Our intention first has to be about other people. We have to be others focused. We have to provide value to people. Money's a horrible why, right? Mm-hmm. So it's never the first and second, never the first intention or even the second. But being good at the monetization definitely should be a priority on the first hand. So it can't just be a byproduct of, help enough people selflessly and then money will flow. That's true. If you really are others focused and give value to others, there's different universal laws that will kick in and money will flow to you. But we shouldn't just have it as a byproduct. We also should have an intention of being good at the monetization side. Not the first priority, but in actuality, the reason why it's money, morals, and a global impact, if we're wanting to make a global impact, if our vision is to impact tens of thousands or millions of people, it's going to cost millions of dollars in reality to fund that, right? And so if we're preaching out of one side of our mouth, I'm going to make a global impact, but it's not congruent with our actions, we're not actually doing the part of monetizing in a big way, then it's actually an integrity issue, right? Because we kind of know the definition of integrity, of honesty and keeping our word, and certainly those are true. But the other definition of integrity is structurally sound and congruent within itself. So if you think of an engineer looking at a building saying, what's the integrity of this building? Is it structurally sound, congruent within itself? Is it framed halfway out of wood and halfway out of metal? That's not going to be safe.
Right,
It's got to be sound. So if we're preaching global impact, but according to our actions it's not congruent, it's actually an integrity issue. It's a morality problem, right? So again, it's about helping others, but there's nothing wrong with becoming efficient at the money part. I'm not an advocate of the 50-hour weeks plus kind of thing, because you'll get out of balance.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of ways, especially in today's world, that we can create efficiencies and really do well for ourselves without having to, just become definitively, this is what I do. It's like your whole life, it defines us now as to what we do for a living. So.
I love that because, I love helping people, and I've come to realize, my time, which is the most valuable thing that we have, is our time. There's only so much of me to go around though.
Yeah.
So, then you start to figure what are different ways to do it. Well, it takes money to be able to impact in that capacity too. So yeah, it's all, you give your time, you give your heart and all that stuff, but eventually it does come back to the fact that it's going to take that money to be able to really make a large impact. So
yeah, sure.
I think it's beautiful what you've done.
Well, the day was filled with incredible speakers talking more on the other side, right? Impact, helping others, and being your authentic self, and how to use pain and endurance, and it was talking about a lot of the recipe for success.
Right.
But sometimes we not only don't put enough importance on the other side of it, on the monetization side, but I find that some people have an aversion to money. Right? They undervalue how useful of a tool it can be.
Right.
And I've had partners that despised money. Actually, they wouldn't tell you that, but it's very difficult to be partnered with somebody that doesn't at least understand the how useful it is as a tool. And again, it's not honest if we're telling people how we're selling it to our employees, our teams, we're positioning stuff on social media, we're going to change the world, and then we're not going to embrace that other piece. It's like the other part will never happen. So it's just talking. Right?
Yeah, it's true. And you and I have talked about it, and I have, money's an important tool. I get that. I understand that. But I'm like me with my business, I'm too close, and I'm the brand and the product, and it feels icky sometimes.
Yeah.
And you're like, what you need is someone going, okay, right behind you. Okay, that's what this is. That's what that. And I was like, yes, that's what I need, because it does. Monetization is what my business is all about. It's what it's built on. But it's hard when you're the sole product going. Okay.
Yeah, it does take partnerships sometimes. I find that the genuine, true artists, the true geniuses that have something really special, most of the time they're not the person that's going to be able to monetize. Their whole focus and their whole lens is helping people. So making that person have to get, wear the hat of collecting, that's not going to work.
Right.
Somebody else has to recognize their value and say, man, this person is not only providing so much value, but probably undervaluing their own services. I know what to do here.
Yeah.
And let them kind of do that. That's very necessary, and something that I've even had to do over the years.
That's why I let you, I'm letting you do. You do it. You just tell me what to do. But I love that, because then you turned around and you said, but if you had to do it for somebody else, you'd be such a boss at it. And I was like, yeah. Probably. That's amazing.
Well, when you take all the emotion out, it's somebody else's company. There's no emotional baggage. You're not fogged out. It's easy to spot inefficiencies and broken systems and put processes out. But when it's our own, we've all experienced that, like mid-sentence saying, oh man, this is so against what I teach. Like we break our own rules because of all the emotions. So years ago, I did a trade with another entrepreneur. I said, let me guide you on all your stuff. You guide me on all my stuff, because we just can't see the forest of the trees.
Right.
And we've had a standing call once a week for 15, 16 years.
That's brilliant.
So yeah, it takes two people at least.
That is brilliant. I love that. And you have so many things going on. I'm just going to take an extra minute because I have to tell you, I watched your old episodes, your TV show.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice.
And it was fabulous. Like, I think I actually saw it a couple times when it aired. And, but I was like, I know this. But, seeing it, through my eyes today in the entrepreneurial world, like, just extraordinary. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you for saying so. That was, it's funny because I did that for 6 seasons, and we aired after Jimmy Kimmel on Tuesdays, and it was a really cool experience. And even though it was a season in my life and I don't do it anymore, there's something about it that becomes part of you that's kind of I miss still to this day. And when I meet incredible human beings like today, people like yourself, I'm like, man, that would have been a good interview.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing it in my head. So let me ask you. No.
Hello. Exactly. That's what's been so fun about today is that, yes, it was an extremely long day. We've been here for 8 hours, I think, at this point doing this, one interview after another. But there's something so exciting. Yeah. And when you talk to brilliant people, you just never know what you're going to get. It's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I had some real standout favorites today of just like, and everybody's got it's such a diverse group of people, not just backgrounds or culture, but their experiences. And like you're talking to somebody that's like, they get on stage, they're telling their story, you're like, it's just incredible what we can glean from these events. I think it's great to invest in ourselves, to attend these, whether we're watching them online or doing them live. It's certainly something that's necessary for us to kind of keep going.
I agree, and it's been such an amazing process to see people healing from doing these talks today too. A lot of people, they're sharing their personal stories, and it's something that impacted their life.
Yeah.
Largely, greatly. And they're sharing to help other people, but also in the process of doing the talk, because, I know what you sat down and did your talk, for 30 minutes or whatever, but, these people have been working on it, working on it, but it's been like an incredible healing process. You didn't have to, you're like, whatever.
No, I kind of thought about it.
I'm kidding. He's just so captivating. I mean, you could get up on that stage and just go right off the cuff, which that's one thing that I was plugging. I said, I'm going to come up with like this whole tag team TEDx where like we're going to reach the Guinness Book of World Records, because like going. Somebody will start, and then whatever they finish the last line, the next person has to start, and it's just.
And you take that ball, whatever they were talking about, and continue that thought.
Yeah,
that would be so rad.
Yeah, you could change it up a little bit, but you have to.
Yeah.
Oh,
that is a really cool idea.
Isn't that great?
Oh man.
I'm like, you heard it here first.
Yeah, make sure to call me. It's on camera.
Yeah, exactly. So, Dan, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. Do you have anything that you want to share? Any links or, you want to plug anybody?
Not really.
Me?
I mean, I think that, I think this is Tips for Tia. You got to check out the tips. That's where I get all my stuff, all the goods. Tips for Tia. Check that out. That's a big key to success.
Thank you.
And I do appreciate everything that you do. You do so much for everybody. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you.
Thank
you. It's been such a pleasure. All right, this has been Journey to TEDx Wilmington. It has been such an exciting day. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure that you listen to all of the amazing speakers. It has been such a fun and exciting day. And I think we're going to do this again next year. and I'll be better prepared for the marathon.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Dan. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.